Good morning, everybody. We are back. It has been... Well, I'm getting some feedback. Yo, Chris.
Yeah. Oh.
Plug in some headphones.
Yeah.
It's alright.
That was big old feedback.
Ugh.
Alright. There you go.
Cool. Awesome. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Alright, so let me restart. Hello, everybody. This is Anthony Beyond from Mission Start Podcast, and we are back. We've taken 2 weeks off. I've been away. Actually, there we go. I've been away on some stuff, mostly, conventions to cover. But we are back. We're talking about the gaming news. But with me today, not only got one, but two people today. So with me is the usual, the person who's always managed to be here every time I stream, and somehow still hasn't been scared of my presence yet. So joining us today is Great Deets.
I don't easily scare, Anthony.
And also joining us today, returning third
Back
host.
from the grave.
Yes, back from the grave. It is Chris, aka
Yep.
my brother. Be honest.
Yeah, hi guys.
And today we got a lot of topics to talk about the past week. So let's get down to it. All right, so let's start off with, because I was just there. So I was at TwitchCon. There were multiple announcements that was announced at TwitchCon at the beginning of the show, or of the conference / convention. And it was kind of a weird mesh. Anyway, so I'll read off some of the announcements that were announced, but there were some pretty big ones that pretty much surmise my thoughts of Twitch trying to kill off YouTube, or basically now 1v1 to YouTube more so than before. So here's some of the things. So I'm going to say the first thing that was the big announcement was that Twitch will not have an app on the PS4. As of right now, it's only been through PlayStation, through their own means of getting able to stream on Twitch, but not an official Twitch app like you have on Xbox One and 360. I think on PS3 as well. Or no, not actually, no. But basically, they announced that the Twitch app is coming to PlayStation for PS4, PS3, PS TV, and Vita. Vita and PS TV was a little surprise for me.
Interesting, yeah.
Yep. The other things that were announced also was Whispers 2.0. So now basically you can have this whisper talk, or like Whispers. Just people who don't know, it's basically just like Facebook. When you go on Facebook and you chat to somebody, basically the same idea, but for Twitch chat, and it's in a separate window. Normally, if you wanted to whisper, you would have to do it in chat. It's on the same window, but different
you lower
tabs.
your voice a lot, and then kind of like through your breath say something. You whisper.
Yeah.
By the way, the stream just went to a black screen.
Oh yeah, the video ended. That's why I wasn't paying attention. So the other thing that was, I think, one of the big announcements, in my opinion, was create a video list. So coming soon, create a playlist featuring your favorite past broadcasts and highlights. Turn your channel into a 24/7 viewing experience where your fans can watch and chat about your content, whether you're live or offline. So basically, you can turn your channel to a 24/7 channel if you wanted to. If you have videos you uploaded, you can use that as a way to just have people watch and never turn off. Or say, like you did a show like earlier, like today, we can save this footage, highlight it, upload it to Twitch servers, and then replay this video again like tomorrow or next week before the show starts.
Yeah, that's really good for channels like the one that I stream for, Half Empty Energy Tank, where we have a show literally every day. So during the time in which we're not live, that could be an option. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could definitely see this becoming more of specifically for like more of a competitive game channels. I could definitely see a lot of benefit.
Yeah.
But I think to cement the announcements at TwitchCon, the last big announcement, aside from HTML5, was probably the biggest thing there. But the other announcement is that now you can upload video, or not now, but soon, you can upload videos onto the Twitch servers via like YouTube. And that pretty much, in my opinion, signifies the fact that Twitch is now gearing up to basically trying to take down YouTube. Maybe not take down is a harsh word, but basically it looks like that from the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the announcements that were at TwitchCon this past year, or this past weekend. And, you know, I think Twitch has a good shot. I think that the way YouTube has handled their streaming service, the whole YouTube gaming, which I think is okay. I think the layout UI is kind of bad. But added to right now, I think Twitch may have the upper hand once these features are implemented. So
one of the things that I was my camera's going to go off, by the way.
That's fine.
One of the big things that I was talking to somebody, I think my brother, about when it came to what Twitch is trying to do, something I noticed while hearing all the news coming out of TwitchCon, was they are absolutely trying to compete with sorry, I just looked at the screen to see what you had put up for me, and it's with the coon. Which is totally acceptable. The fact that they seem like they're going to be attempting to compete directly with YouTube gaming, which is great. Again, that's great for streamers. That's great for viewers. I mean, that's how things push in this country is competition. But I just hope that Twitch doesn't, pull a Microsoft and Sony and implement something that is clearly not going to work. I want them to implement things carefully and with thought and not rush things to the extent of they decide to release a thing on their website that I can't think of an example at the top of my head. Basically, I just don't want them to rush things. I don't want them to put out product or put out a new update that hinders more than it helps, just because they're going, well, we have to compete with YouTube. The thing is that Twitch has to understand, or Justin.tv as it's still understood under the copyright laws, they have to understand that more people have been using Twitch longer than will use YouTube gaming, at least for the foreseeable future. Mm-hmm. So they have plenty of time to worry about that later. And but I want them to start working on things now. I want them to try to really make their product the superior product for both streamers and viewers. And it really does look like that they're heading in that direction. It absolutely looks like that with all the stuff that they want to do. It looks like that's where they're going. And, sure, there's going to be a few things here and there that people aren't going to like right off the bat. It's like fucking any other socialist, not socialist, because that's not what I'm going for. Social type of website is what I was trying to go for. Mm-hmm. Because realistically, as we are content providers, we are still in a social medium. That's the difference between what we do, whether it's YouTube or Twitch or whatever other website that you can go to and see people's work online. We are in a social setting. So it's different. It's just different than let's say TV. I forgot where my point was going, but I will say that I feel Twitch understands that and wants to continue that. They want to make sure that if you are a viewer, you're getting your time's worth. And I know that they're definitely going to be pushing the fact that their website is a highly marketable thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great. Again, for viewers and streamers.
Yeah, I personally like the direction that Twitch is going in with their updated features and all. It seems like it's just kind of like building on top of what they already have, and it's going in a direction of success. As far as relation to YouTube gaming, I think that they're going to put them in the grave at this point. I don't really see a whole lot of people using YouTube gaming as often as they do Twitch. So,
what's funny? What's funny, Chris? You mentioned that there's not a lot of people using YouTube gaming.
Uh-huh.
The guys over at Rooster Teeth, who make a lot of their money off of YouTube and their gaming content, have argued publicly, especially Bernie Burns, that YouTube gaming is a no-brainer due to the fact that YouTube has always been the primary source for people to go to check out video game content. And he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's absolutely not wrong in that. The numbers that YouTube gets for their gaming content videos is drastically higher than Twitch.
Yeah.
But I argue that there's a difference between edited videos and live videos.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the live market, Twitch has clearly the upper hand.
Oh, yeah.
They've been doing it longer. They understand it longer. They've understood it longer. My fucking English is terrible today. I said tonight. All right. Anyway.
Still waking up.
Yeah. No, Jesus. So yeah, I mean, my point is that like you are absolutely correct. You are 100% correct. But, I like Twitch. I really do. They've always kind of been like, anytime that something's messed up, like I remember a long time ago, like when I first met up with or found Half Empty Energy Tank, there was a big problem with Twitch at the time that like the lower end people lost video quality options. So like people couldn't watch it on like low end internet speeds or whatever. Like it was just whatever it was, the source. People had an issue with the chat. Like the chat was really fucked up for some stupid reason. It would just eat messages. Like I even made a meme of the Cookie Monster eating messages. But Twitch was very verbal about like, we are working on a solution. We just don't know what the problem is. Like it's such a sporadic problem that they couldn't pinpoint what it was. They eventually did, but they were very verbal about it. Like yes, everyone was getting frustrated. And back when the VOD thing happened, people were like, "We're going over to Hitbox," and it was like, "That's dumb. Don't do that." Like I understand the anger, but don't. That's not necessary.
Yeah.
And what happened? I mean, look what happened. People were mad for a month and then came back. I mean, what did Cosmo Wright do? He was like, I banned Twitch, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, a month later, he was back on Twitch. Because that's where his audience is.
Yeah.
And that's where the audiences are, period.
Oh, yeah.
Like, sure, Funhouse or Rooster Teeth goes live, or PewDiePie goes live on YouTube Gaming, or what the fuck ever, and
but it's
that's going to get a lot of...
It's
well,
not...
I mean, recently...
I'm
sorry,
go
ahead.
on.
We're talking one another. I was gonna say that the Game Grumps, they went live on YouTube Gaming and Twitch, and guess which side got more views? Regardless that the Game Grumps are on YouTube primarily as a source of entertainment, they still had more viewers on Twitch than they did on YouTube Gaming.
Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing a lot more often, is that people are streaming both on YouTube and as well as Twitch, so they're getting more of their crowd from the Twitch viewers. Like the other day I saw one of the channels I was subscribed to, it was live on YouTube, so I went on there and I noticed there's no chat. Okay, so I go to Twitch, same channel, they're playing the same exact thing, same video, same stream, and everybody's there. So it's like, what's the point of me going to YouTube then? It just advertises it to me, which then I can go to Twitch and just watch.
Yeah, and the other problem with streaming to both too, something that a lot of streamers that I know personally have found out, is that it really eats up your bandwidth. So bad so that like one suffers.
Oh.
Primarily, it depends on which one is your primary in your setup. It is the secondary is the one that suffers, and that really sucks for people watching, because they're just like, well, I guess I gotta go to the inferior one because they wanted to make that the primary. This happened a few weeks ago on Half Empty. Of course, Brian's internet's not as fast, so at least to do 2 high-quality streams like he likes to do. So all of a sudden, the Twitch one was just real laggy. Like, you could hear him just fine, but you couldn't see anything. But if you went over to the YouTube one, which was the primary one he set up, it was great. It was perfect. Looked great. It was, but the chat wasn't there.
Yeah.
That social interactivity that makes live streaming so much fun was gone.
Yeah.
And for what? Like, because YouTube thinks that they can make more money off of people streaming on their site? That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that Justin.tv doesn't exist anymore, guys.
Yeah. And the thing about it, too, to also bring in the equation, is that how long will you think it will take for MCMs, companies on YouTube, to then, go towards Twitch? Because right now we're partnered with Machinima, and Machinima pays us money for our YouTube content videos we put out. How long do you think it'll take for companies like Machinima to come over to Twitch and say, like, hey, we want to set up this partner program on Twitch with, such and such streamers. I don't know that it'll happen anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
And the primary reason is because, like, with YouTube, it's almost necessary to have that extra, like, partnership. You're signed with Maker, and you put out a video, and all of a sudden Disney's like, nope, take that shit down.
Yeah.
But then Maker,
That's
Maker
true.
comes in, and they're like, no, it's fine because it's parody or whatever the fuck Maker does. Granted, I'm using Maker as an example, and then Disney as the other example, and Maker's owned by Disney now, but that's the point. It's not necessary with Twitch at the moment, is kind of what I'm getting at. The whole reason that Twitch exists is that they can kind of monitor their own streaming, or what's being streamed at the time. Like, let's take Honey Pop, for example. You would be banned if you streamed that. having a secondary, like, but not have your channel banned, just like your stream shut off and then a warning like, don't stream this game because we're prudes and don't like it. But the thing about YouTube is that because it's a video, an already recorded and edited video, you can just re-upload it.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. With a stream, you lose that stream. Let's say you have 200 people watching, and you're just like, oh my god, this is the greatest day of my life. I have 200 people watching. I'm getting a lot of extra, not a lot of new people, and this is awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Twitch goes, nope, done.
Yeah.
And you go, fuck. Well, there's no way to recover that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no necessity in recovering that. It's gone. Period. Regardless, even if you had a partner, it's gone. The only time you would need a partner per se is if your channel got banned for some shit. But that's so rare and far and few in between that you have to do something really fucking bad in order to get banned. And there's not going to be any partners that are going to save your ass if you're streaming stuff that's going to get you banned.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no right now necessary reason to have partnerships through Twitch. Do I think it'll happen one day? Absolutely, because shit like that always happens.
Mm.
But I feel like it would be more of a union than it will be what partnerships are on YouTube.
Right. So yeah, I mean, in due time, I think it's gonna. Whether the evolution of Twitch would become better than YouTube is gonna come with time. In terms of if we can predict the future, I think that we could have both. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have column A, column B in terms of which one's better than the other. I'm biased to say that Twitch is better than YouTube at this moment, but time will only tell. Who knows exactly what happened in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So
hold on, I got a question. I got a question for our chat real quick.
Yeah.
Prime Rex, I'm not cute. Oh man.
It's okay. I think you are.
So moving on. So I want to bring up. Okay, so let's go to Silent Hills now. Okay, so. Sorry. All right, so as you can see on screen, some pretty weird images right now, and I'll explain. So this past week, Guillermo del Toro, the director of Pacific Rim, who was going to be with Kojima on the Silent Hills franchise, but soon was shut down by Konami, and we know exactly how that went out.
Yeah.
So recently on Twitter, he announced that there was a third party that was going to be involved, and one of which was the horror manga artist known as
Junji Ito.
Yeah, Junji Ito, who is probably, I want to say, the best or one of the best manga horror artists out there. I mean, he was going to be part of the project, and his stuff is really screwed up and really, really like.
That's just some twisted shit.
Yeah.
The stuff you're putting on screen right now is like. You remember those books as that we were kids? That was like.
The horror stories with the art?
Like the guy. Yeah, the guy drew he used brush art that was a little bit loose, so it looked like there were spider webs over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that.
Definitely.
I do remember those.
But yeah, like he was going to be added to the project, and the indications that the Silent Hills game was going to be a special game in terms of like how exactly it was going to be directed, how exactly the art is going to be, because already from PT alone, like it was scary as shit.
Yeah.
And if it would have went on and in that direction with what they had in mind, they could have had something very special. But lo and behold, it didn't happen. And there's another footnote into the long trilogy of Konami shutting down Hideo Kojima and eventually firing him. So
yeah, that's a shame. If they had gone through with this whole project with Guillermo del Toro and Junji Ito behind the cast, helping them out, that would have been something really different. Really, it would have definitely have helped Konami and the Silent Hill franchise, for sure. But it's a shame of just what happened.
Definitely. And then the question becomes like, hey, why did they start a Kickstarter? Why did they start, Indiegogo? I mean, here's the thing. Hideo Kojima, like, when he makes games, he takes a big chunk of budget to make them. What was it, like, Metal Gear Solid 5 was like around like 89, 90 million to make?
Jeez.
Somewhere around that range. So, even if there were something, even if you put in a Kickstarter that they could do, I don't think even with the public help would get them far enough to cover
what
it all.
What I want to see, and this is a rumor that I heard, so I mean take it with a grain of salt, but I had heard that Sony was in talks with Kojima to produce a game for them. I think that would be the best route to go. I think like, of course it's not going to be Metal Gear Solid or Silent Hill, but I think that would be, again, the best route. Simply because when Sony sees the success of Metal Gear Solid 5, the outcry for the canceled Silent Hills, it would be stupid of Sony to not fully go with it.
Yeah.
Sure, that sucks for Xbox users, but then again, if you look at Xbox sales to Metal Gear Solid 5 versus the other consoles, it's actually the lowest. So yeah, it's. I really, really hope that a Kojima horror game is not dead.
Yeah.
We know that Silent Hills is dead. We know that.
And it would make sense too if Hideo Kojima this time was Sony because the whole Metal Gear Solid franchise has been with Sony PlayStation for the longest time since the very first one. So it would make sense for them to come out and say like, hey, you know, would you like to make a game for us? You've been good to us all these years. You know, let's help you out now. So it would make total sense.
Yeah. But again, that's a rumor. I just hope it's a rumor that comes to true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think it would be a lot of fun to get a new franchise from Kojima, whether it's a horror game or just a new series in general. Unless Kojima's just like, I'm done. Which I doubt. I fucking doubt.
Yeah.
That'd be a heartbreaker for everybody.
Yeah, Kojima definitely. And I remember this. He said this, I think, at the. Oh man, was it this like Spike Award show like back in the day? He said like he's going to continue making games until he dies. So he has it in him.
Exactly.
He has it in him. Ooh, a Kojima fighting game. Ooh. No, I'm just reading the chat.
You and fighting games.
That would be kind of cool. That would be some interesting shit.
Prime Rex got your attention real hard there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Or they?
Yeah.
I don't know the segment.
But definitely we have not heard the last of Kojima, for sure. But we'll keep tabs on what happens to him over the span of his years. But speaking of fighting games, thank you Prime Rex for that hopeful transition. So recently and unfortunately,
I don't know about unfortunately.
I mean for one person. So a new character which was leaked recently this past week for Street Fighter V, and it was the Brazilian fighter called Laura. Now Laura, she was hinted by Ono saying like, you know, making some hints for like it could be Blanca, it could be not. You know, him actually resembles Blanca and having like a lot of Blanca figurines around his desk. He was really excited about this one announcement. But recently in Famitsu, it was leaked, and the time it might have been the timing was off, and maybe they released it too early.
Yeah.
And it's Alicia Keys. Basically, it was leaked, and we find out that this is a new character. She's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu martial artist, and in terms of like how she looks and plays, at least from the images, it looks like she's more. I wouldn't say grappler based, but like kind of like a, you know, another one of those martial arts characters. The Blanca Ball electric thing I think is hilarious, which, you know, kind of begs the question like, is she like Blanca's kid or something to that nature? So who knows? But yeah, no, it was cool. Like, I mean, not cool with the fact that it leaked, but like I like that this character is definitely the direction it's going towards.
Yeah.
But yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just interested in seeing what her everything is about. The move list, the special moves, the V trigger and the V skill. I'm just more curious about that, if anything.
Yeah. To be not to be fair, but like as I said, like the one person who was pretty disappointed was Ono, because he was really excited about this announcement for a while. He's been touting about the Brazil gaming expedition, or the conference that they're doing there for the past couple months. Let me say longer than that. And he felt pretty heartbroken when that leak happened. He went on to. He says he's still going to work hard on making sure the other characters get their chance in the sun. But like, he felt pretty heartbroken about it. But you know, it sucks for what happened. But at the same time, I think that everybody's happy either way. It's just we get to see a trailer now, so that's the only thing we're missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there we go, Laura.
Yeah, it's a shame that I guess it was leaked. I mean, that can't feel good knowing, you know, like, oh, my hard work and effort for this so long, and I've been hyping it up, and it just gets leaked by accident by Famitsu. You know, that can't feel good.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna use some Crow for this because I had my doubts. I seriously had my doubts about Mario Maker. Okay, so if you were here last show, if you listen to the podcast, or if you watch it on YouTube, basically I came out and said that I'm not quite sure if Mario Maker would be able to withstand a month or 2 months, because I feel like that they're not going to last long, because the entire game is going to be based on the content that the creators are going to create and how long that will last, i.e. Little Big Planet and how long that lasted. So I had to eat crow on this one, because recently on Twitter, let me bring up the image right quickly actually. Where is that? Did I not put it in here? Guess I did not.
Uh-oh.
Okay, no, I'll add it in right now. Basically, there was a picture that was posted on Twitter. So I'm bring that real quickly.
I put something in the chat I wasn't supposed to.
Uh-oh.
Better not be porn.
No. I put something in there. It's trying to delete it, but I can't.
Okay. So on screen, you see the tweet from Nintendo of Europe. Super Mario Maker has sold 1 million units worldwide, with 2.2 million courses being created so far. So, yeah.
And how recent is that tweet?
That was this past week.
Okay.
So, I have to eat crow. Yeah. Okay. Now my next challenge is going to say, like, can they keep this up for the coming years? Because, I mean, like, I will say, I have been watching a lot of Mario Maker creation levels, and some are pretty ridiculous. Some of them were pretty cool. Like, you don't push a button and it kind of auto.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Some are just ridiculously hard, and somehow you got to figure it out to get through them. And some are pretty funny. So, like, it's so far it's been not bad. What I have heard is that the creation of Mario Maker is not great.
You mean like the resources to create maps?
No, in a sense that where to find the good stuff versus all the bad maps.
Uh-huh.
So that's the only thing I've heard that's been people have been complaining about. Outside of that, I've been hearing nothing but good stuff about it. So, yeah, you got me, Nintendo.
yeah. No, it depends. It just we'll see how long this will last with Mario Maker.
The argument that I had for you, Anthony, was that after it being on, oh my god, what was the during E3 when they had the tournament thing or the competition?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was that? Like the Nintendo Championship?
Yes.
Yeah.
World Championship.
Yeah, and it was like they had that there, and they showed what you could do and the different. Like I was like, I don't have a Wii U, but I just want to buy the game. Like it was, like that's why I was like, it's gonna sell a lot,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But yeah, the big thing I hear about the game a lot from everybody is like, there's not enough content. Like there's still a lot of content, but there's not like. There's no checkpoint system. The levels are actually really short. There's a bunch of other things I've heard, but
yeah, I'm wondering if there's any way to like save the maps you like in a sort of playlist almost, like a saves favorites kind of thing.
I'm not quite sure. I do not have the game per se. I know you can favorite some maps. But I'm not quite sure how exactly it works. But that's what I've heard, though, from people and on Twitter. So I do know that it is often played recently at the nearby place I go to every other Friday sometimes. My friend Common Rider, who's in the chat actually, is always posting videos of like one of my friends playing through the Mario Maker maps, which is hilarious. But yeah, definitely. We'll see how it goes. Time will tell, like all things in the game industry. But
yeah,
we'll see how this one goes for sure. All right. Speaking of nostalgia,
oh boy,
this game, man. Okay, so Tony Hawk 5.
Yeah.
Where to start? Okay.
So You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
You know what gave me the biggest clue about this game, which what you're about to talk about?
Yeah.
There was no big advertisements for it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? There was one big one. The E3 leak.
It doesn't really count. When the game's getting closer to release, and you're seeing no reviews for it. You're seeing nobody talking about it. It just kind of like Tony Hawk 5 come out, and you're the game's already out. Like I wasn't paying attention to it. I wonder why. Like I wonder what's going on. Then the game comes out, and it's just this. It's just this. It's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So okay, a little backstory for people who don't know. Tony Hawk 5. Was leaked and announced at this past year's E3 by we talked about on this show actually, where this guy was catering for the event and like he apparently had a friend take a picture of him showing off Tony Hawk 5 Pro Skater logo in the background. So it was announced and it was shown some gameplay, but the gameplay was it was all right. It was nothing to really scoff at. But when it finally came out, the game itself, from when people have said, is like it is glitchy. At some points, like the game was unplayable. Much of the obstacle courses were not as creative as others. Basically, the game is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how bad it was until I watched some of the stuff that's out there. I'm like, holy crap. So it's awful. I don't know how you can screw up a Tony Hawk game, but they managed to do it.
Well, the thing is that's really sad is that this is the last Tony Hawk game. This was the last one that Activision had their contract with Tony Hawk. So this is the last Tony Hawk game.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame because this thing is a steaming pile of crap.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Actually, speaking of which, I actually got a quote from Activision about this. So we had a press release. Oh wait, actually, yeah. Oh no, that was in 2002. Okay.
Yeah, no, that was in 2002, and they talked about they're there until 2015.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I did hear that. I did hear that. That's right. Yes. Sorry, the guys at Funhouse said that. That they basically had to release the game this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, this was their last. This was their last year with Tony Hawk.
God, what a bad way to go out.
Yeah, it's just awful. So like it's a bad game. The question that becomes like, will this franchise die now because of this?
Probably. I mean, there might be like spiritual successors, different kind of characters and all, but I see this being dead, like just a totally dead thing.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be. In a sense, it could come back in some other way. Like maybe like another company picks it up if they wanted to with the license, and then try to revive Tony Hawk. I'm not quite sure. But here's the thing, though. Even if you do, like, you'll be targeting those people who have played the Tony Hawk series, like, back in the day when it come out. If anybody else new comes to the fray that are younger, they're not going to know who Tony Hawk was or what Tony Hawk series were because they never played those games back then.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, like, are you feeding off nostalgia off of only the certain group or...
Absolutely. Yeah. They absolutely are. I mean, that's a no-brainer to me. It's there's this... Okay, so I'm going to... It has to do with my point, so I'm going to go to it. But, Uwe Boll, everyone knows Uwe Boll.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So, you know why his movies are so shit?
Mm-hmm.
It has absolutely nothing to do with his directing skills. It has to do with the fact that the German, back then, the German movie companies would get the rights to these video games. Or video game movies. And they knew that making a bomb actually made them more money. I don't remember how the whole process worked, but the way that the German movie company worked was that if you made a movie that bombed, you made more money than if it was successful.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is it was tax exempt. So you got all of that money.
Wow.
So they intentionally brought in Uwe Boll. Now I don't know if Mr. Boll they brought him in because they thought he was shitty or he was in on it. I don't honestly give a shit. But the biggest problem that they had with those is they had to release them at a very specific time. And they banked on the fact that, like the American companies that would put it in theaters, banked on the fact that it would bring in people through nostalgia or excitement because of a franchise that they had already known. One of those, another example that I just read about was Street Fighter V, the Street Fighter movie. So what's really funny about the movie itself was the original script only had 7 Street Fighter characters. Capcom kept pushing to add in more. And because Capcom was basically fronting the bill for the movie, and the studio who was also fronting, which I think was Paramount? I don't remember, but they were pushing for more characters. So the screenplay had to be rewritten from 7 characters to 15. And there was 2 big issues with the main characters of the movie. So Raul Julia was going through cancer treatment, and he would arrive on set every day visibly drained.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
On top of that, fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme was coked out of his mind the entire fucking set or shoot. And they had absolutely no time to do rehearsals. Because by the time Raul Julia would get on set, they didn't have enough time to do choreography, so they would just film. And so that's why a lot of the fight scenes in the movie look fucking atrocious. It's why a lot of like the set pieces look atrocious.
Right.
But the studio still released it based on nostalgia. Simply based on nostalgia.
Yeah. It's yeah, definitely. I can definitely see that comparison. I remember I watched that movie. I actually what was it? I downloaded a commentary with it to watch it to make it much more watchable. It was more funny to me. Yeah. It was pretty awful.
Yeah, that movie is terrible.
Yeah. But point being, Tony Hawk, bad game. We'll see.
They're done.
We'll hopefully see you in another 10 years. If not, then this is your last goodbye.
That just leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth with Tony Hawk.
Yeah, it does. But what was done is done. So
yeah, I
don't know. We'll see. So let's see. What else do we have? Oh, of course. Okay. Let me bring this mic back up. I think we're in the last part of the news, actually. Yeah, we are. Okay. So, the last part of the news. Oh, wait. Actually, no, take that back.
There wasn't a lot that happened this week, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of down. Actually, I do have one other one, actually. I didn't put it down on here. Let me actually type that in. It's more in your wheelhouse, and also it's kind of been shown this past week. Okay. So, we got 2 news stories, actually. So, one of which... So, Greg.
Yo.
So, there was apparently an unreleased South Park game that was...
I saw this headline, but I didn't read it.
Yeah. So basically, and this is from a video. Let me put in the actual unreleased game. Save. Okay. So the thing about this is that the South Park game that they were showing off, and this is a YouTube video, but these guys made. I for life of me can't remember what their YouTube name is, but. I'm pretty sure it'll pop up pretty soon. But anyways, so these 2 guys managed to get their hands on an unreleased game of South Park. It was going to come out for the Xbox, original Xbox, and it was a prototype of a South Park game, very much in the same vein as a Simpsons Hit and Run. The main theme of the game is you be running around South Park as I believe it was oh man, I'm blanking on the character.
Cartman?
Yeah, Cartman.
Okay.
So like you'll be running around as Cartman and you're kind of going around doing kind of random act jobs. They had a combat system even in place, which actually wasn't that bad from showing it in the video. And it was a lot of stuff that was really early alpha kind of thing. You would see walls that literally just says like texture or dirt here. Like there were definitely times when they showed a video like it would crash often, just getting through the door or picking up an item. But they managed to work around it to kind of show off some more of the concepts of what South Park would have been if they would been gotten the approval, or if it was released on the original Xbox. And from what I've read, it is basically because the reason why it was never released is that the creators of the show didn't feel this was a good representation of what the show actually looked like. And that's why they waited for, technology to come to catch up, so they can go and make the South Park game as we know today. So that's the story behind the unreleased South Park game. It's interesting. I always love these type of stories when it comes to games that never been released, because it happens more often than not that games that have never seen the light of day or have never were released but were in prototype stages, somehow leaks, or somehow you hear stories about them but you never seen them. So this is one of those stories. It's just like, there could have been a South Park game coming out for the Xbox original.
Yeah. Well, depending, you said it was in the same vein of Hit and Run, and I think depending on the time of release, it might have been seen as sort of something that was just copying the same kind of material or kind of format almost.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that they went and delayed and they just went with Stick of Truth. That game is, that's an amazing game. But that's
the only good South Park game.
That's true. That's true.
I've been a fan of South Park for years. Like, this new season, by the way, is unbelievably awesome. The fact that this did get pushed back and never released, I'm actually very happy to hear, because it ultimately doesn't sound. It sounds like it'd be like every other South Park game. It was just kind of haphazardly put together, and it has the characters in it. I got excited because one of my favorite cosplays the only cosplay I've ever done, is the Coon from South Park. It's Cartman's. I should clarify that, because it's not just a Coon or the racist one. It's Cartman's superhero alter ego. The biggest problem that I had was when they released this side-scrolling game. The game itself wasn't completely bad, but it was this weird, the boys now have to deal with this, time-traveling guy, and they have to use their superhero alter egos, which have powers somehow, and they have to deal with that. I'm just like, none of this makes sense. Mm-hmm. Absolutely none of this makes sense. And then on top of that, they did this stupid fucking thing where there were these fucking secrets in the game, where you had to find them in order to unlock further levels.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah,
it was really bad. And if it was just a side-scrolling game with the boys, it wouldn't have been so bad, but it still didn't make any sense. A big problem that a lot of people have, or a lot of people have an image of South Park that is quite simply fart jokes and dick jokes and making fun of people. It's that's not what South Park is. South Park is making statements through comedy. That's what South Park does. Especially with these last two seasons, it's been really heavy. But they're not. Sure, back when they started, they might have been more about dick jokes and fart jokes, but now it's a bit more sophisticated. Now it's let's hold a mirror to society. They were always kind of like that.
Yeah.
And no, not one single game has been able to replicate that, except for Stick of Truth.
Mm-hmm.
And this game does not sound like it would have been that.
Oh, no.
It does not sound like it would have been that whole, let's make fun of the gaming industry through our game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So to me, it's a good thing it was canceled. It's, as a fan of South Park, as somebody who wants the content that South Park has always provided me over the years, I want that. You know, I kind of, and maybe I'm just fanboying out over here, but I've always kind of held South Park in a higher esteem than other satire, because I think it helped shape me and my view of the world. You know, like, South Park really brought to me this attitude of, and I've said it on stream before, but cautious optimism. Mm-hmm. Like, you can be happy and excited for something. You can be, like, happy-go-lucky and fun-loving, but at the same time, you know, have your reserves. Have this ability to go, maybe not so much.
Yeah,
and that's
definitely.
why it's one of the big reasons I play devil's advocate on this podcast all the fucking time, because I do account that to South Park. So I'm excited for I'm extremely excited for the Fractured Butthole, and I also say that as casually as I can too, because I absolutely love it. I know that, you know, like Matt and Trey, they do things publicly. Like every time, like they went on to the Ubisoft press conference at E3, and we talked about this, Anthony, and their attitude towards the whole thing was fucking glorious.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. And they're cool dudes too, so big shout outs for them for sure. But yeah, like, was it a good thing that I didn't have this game released? Probably. Yeah. But you know, it's hindsight is 2020, and we can say now, like, you know, that it was a better choice for them. Who knows? It might have been good. You know, graphics might have been as same parts what they wanted to be, but you never know. This was one of the situations, but it's really interesting to see these type of things kind of come out. These like legends and stories of games you never hear or came in light of day. But last thing of the show, well, before we end the show completely. So, recently, Nintendo announced that Animal Crossing is having their own amiibo set coming out. And as a man who loves my amiibos, you know, show one just to prove that, my Kirby. But let me put it up right here. All right. So on Twitter, it was announced that it's called the Amiibo Festival launches for Wii U on 11/13, which includes amiibos of the Animal Crossing crew. I put it up there because people really love this stuff. Also, the fact that I'm getting Tom Nook. I want that Tom Nook amiibo. I'm going to just zoom in on him just to emphasize that right now. Yeah. There we go. That's what I want. Right there. No, it's cool though. Like they're really expanding outside of just the Smash amiibos. Recently also announced was the Shovel Knight amiibo that it's coming out. I'm not sure when exactly that's going to come out, but I want that too. But like yeah, like they're expanding outside of the realm to have more of their franchises turned into amiibos. It's cool. It's a cool thing.
It's cool.
Yeah. So there you go. I'm not quite sure there's any intelligent input other than the fact it looks fucking cool.
yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for us for this show. So before we end the show, I'd like to thank both our people who joined us today. So before we end it, Greg, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think that's all the social media sites, but just search for Chub Rock Geek and you'll find me. On every Saturday I stream on Half Empty Energy Tank, and I'm working on reviews for the site. Well, for our YouTube page, I should say.
Right, definitely. Awesome. Chris, where can they find you on the internet?
I'm at Old Milk with a Q on Twitter and Instagram, so if you guys want to hit me up on that.
Awesome. And you can follow me personally on Twitter at Defective Naruto. You can follow the work that me, Chris, and Greg do on our website at Startpodcast.com. And actually bring up the slide real quick. So, if you enjoy this podcast, if you enjoy this audio podcast, this video podcast, however you may consume it, be sure to subscribe to us on our Twitch channel here. But also, be sure to subscribe us on your YouTube channel at youtube.com/Mission Start Podcast 1. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher as well. If you like convention talk, if you'd like to hear us talk about anime conventions, TwitchCon, and other conventions we went and checked out, be sure to follow us on our website for the Conover. You can also find on iTunes and Stitcher. And also, if you enjoy comic book news, HBO, entertainment, if that's your thing, I suggest you check out the Rolling 20s, which also is hosted on our website. But it also can be found on iTunes and Stitcher. It's a weekly show. All these are actually a weekly show, with the exception of the Conover. And you can definitely find it on our website, as well as other places around the internet. But yeah, so outside of that, there's some stuff coming down the pipeline. I got some interviews I still got to upload. Majority of the TwitchCon coverage panel-wise is uploaded, so definitely check it up on our YouTube channel as well as on our website. There'll be some more stuff. There's some more podcasts to be recorded outside MSP, Conover as well. So there's definitely some stuff coming down the pipeline. Yeah, always working, always busy, and that's going to do it for us for this week. So, with that in mind, we will see you guys next week.